the special session of the Lincoln County Commission on January 10th, 2014 at 3:30 p.m. in room 10, well, actually we're in room 103. Members present, Darrell Baker, clerk, KK Matthews, president, Charles Vance by phone, and Charles McCann. The meeting's called to order by Marion Apper, and the discussion of concern possible action, the first is payroll issues.
We have prosecuting attorney, Mr. Gapehart here. One of the reasons that we called this meeting was to try to get a 2-week withholding for our employees without them having to take a 2 weeks off as far as not receiving pay for 2 weeks. But according to the state code, they have to receive 2 paychecks in a month. So one of the things that we've been kicking around is providing a stipend to the employees for 2 weeks, which will allow us to have a 2-week withholding. And Mr. Gapehart was checking into the legalities behind that, and I'll let him take it from here.
Okay, and at the time that I was asked to take a look at this, I was also advised that there had been some preliminary inquiry or discussion with some representative of the auditor's office that was, or appeared to be, seemed to be favorable toward accomplishing what we want to accomplish. And it took a while, but I made contact with the legal counsel for the auditor's office. I've given you a copy of an email that she sent me, and that is Lisa Hopkins. And this is not something that is to be broadcast in that this is not something that has been announced or introduced with the legislature, but she said what a coincidence, the state is dealing with the same issue, that there have been, of course, a substantial number of employees that were hired and paid currently, as we're doing, that the state saw the need to change that, but they only did it going forward with new employees, but they're still dealing with such a large volume of employees that were hired previously and are being paid currently that they intend to take action to address the situation. And she shared with me language that she indicated she believed would address the situation, but there are 2 things after she sent it to me and I had a chance to review it that I wanted to address with her, and I've attempted to communicate with her but have been unable to. If you read the language, what it does is not quite what was under consideration. It's not a payment of any kind of a stipend. It is, and I'm not an accountant, and I don't know if any of you here have more than the 6 hours of accounting I had in undergraduate business school, but it seems to me that it is an accounting fiction, so to speak. It's an entry that's made where it says for accounting purposes only, that let's say we were to have enacted this and we were coming up to the pay period on January 15th. When an employee is paid on January 15th, it's put down as a credit. In essence, it's like having paid them on credit. And from that point forward, meaning that from that conversion period forward, you are then paying them, let's say January 30, you would be paying them for January 15, for January 1 through January 15. And there would continue to be on the books a credit due the county, which would be adjusted when they leave employment. It wouldn't change the possibility that an employee could get paid on the 13th because it falls on a Friday, or let's say, or even for that matter, because it goes in the night before, and for those that receive direct deposit, and that they leave without having worked a day or two, whatever the lag period could be. In which case, that employee would owe the county in return, but it dispenses with the idea of signing checks a week in advance before someone has earned the money that is covered by the check that you're signing, because it would be for a prior period. If you sign the check on the 22nd of January, you would be signing it for the 1st through the 15th. So it would address that side of the concern. But I don't know whether, because she was somewhat, hey, I've got just the thing, that was kind of the gist of the conversation, and I'll send you this. And afterward I look at it, I understand what it is that they are proposing to do, and intend to attempt to do for the state. And we could do the same thing, but that would not involve an actual expenditure, as this, what we had talked about would. It wouldn't be a stipend, it wouldn't be a payment of any kind. It would literally be just a change in the accounting entries. And so maybe that's better. That's for the county, for the commission to decide. It would, however, require, in her view at least, the adoption, because we discussed that as well, the adoption of this language as an ordinance, a county ordinance. And there are some formalities, of course, in regard to doing it in that manner. I don't know, and I had intended, if I had been able to reach her today, to ask whether it was her opinion that this is the way we have to do it, or whether the county could choose to go with the other route and do a stipend and so forth. But I haven't been able to speak with her, and at this point, I wouldn't feel confident, comfortable in telling you. You can say, well, that's nice, but we don't want to do that, we want to do this.
But what would you suggest? Would you suggest doing what this lady was?
Well, it would be cleaner also from the standpoint that you wouldn't have the potential of having to pay those people who have been employed since you started the holdback with new employees. So it would be cleaner in that respect. And I know it's something that the county has wanted, the commission has wanted to address before now, but since we seem to have an answer and a solution that there's no question the auditor approves of, and that the state is going to employ, even though it may delay things a little bit, I would think it would be advisable to go ahead and follow the procedure adopted as an ordinance, and it'll take a little while longer, but.
Do you all have any questions?
I do. I mean, as far as like Gerald, the accounting part, we still get a paycheck. They just have to keep track that it's now a credit.
Just like a loan?
Whatever
Correct,
it
okay.
is, yes, and
Okay.
that's why credit is it's a credit due the state, a credit in the accounting process. Whatever the conversion date is, on that date, they'll still receive the same paycheck, but it will go down as a credit
that they just have to keep track of somewhere.
And from that point forward, you know, from an accounting standpoint, you will continually have one pay period as a credit due to the county, while being paid a check which represents the prior pay period.
Right, okay, I just wanted to make sure I have.
For paycheck, for the first paycheck, what amount would you go with?
Well,
Just for the first one to come.
example, again, on January
Still just fall
15,
back to the following?
on January 15, they receive the paycheck, but it goes down as a credit, not as wages for the first pay period. And then when they're paid on January 30th, they're being paid for January 1st through 15th, continuing to carry that credit.
What he's saying is what would that,
It's in essence,
the
Well,
same
just
amount,
say
like
if
what
it-
would that
just
check be?
say for like hourly employees,
I know.
what would you?
That was what I was gonna say, is
I'm sorry.
it's easy for, of course, salaried employees. For hourly employees, I don't know, I'd have to, again, I'm not an accountant, but, I'd have to look into that, give that some thought.
You know,
Because it
we
varies from,
probably need to let Mark give us his opinion on it too.
right,
But I mean, I think it solves the problem we've had. I mean, I think it does it in a way that makes sense. And you know, I'm all for, you know, whatever the timeline would be to get that done. I think it needs to be done because I think it has the least impact on our employees that we get back within accounting principles, I think.
Everybody shaking their head.
so do we have a motion to adopt the language set forth by, Mr. Gayhart?
Are you asking for a motion?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
We have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
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 All opposed? All right, thank you, Mr. Gayhart. The next order of business is the county, the courthouse roof. And Mary can kind of fill us in on this a little bit.
Our roof is leaking in this, it's called the storage room. It was an office at one time, but it's where magistrate clerk keeps all their files in the courthouse. Then there's two places in the jury room it's leaking. It's leaking in the judge's, secretary's office and Carol's office. It's leaking in the judge's chambers. Randy, the custodian, thinks it may be blowing in through the vents in certain spots. I don't know exactly, Mr. McCain, you might be able, I don't know if Andy Williamson fixed these particular things. I know he did some stuff to the roof, but I was still a little too new to know exactly what he fixed. Now, I can call him and see if he worked on these. If he did, then maybe he should come back and fix it. If not, we did get that courthouse facilities improvement grant to work on the roof, but I don't know if it's worth waiting, if the damage is gonna, you know, if there's gonna be more damage before we can get that going, basically. Does that make sense? That we, you know, do we need to patch it with a Band-Aid until we can get a new, you know, work on the roof?
In my opinion, you'd have to patch it, and Andy and did work, I just call them and say, come and review any of the work you've done, see if it's causing a problem. If not,
Okay,
I
'cause
suggest me having fixed whatever they find wrong.
Okay, because I do know they did work on the vents. They put new grates or whatever and stuff. I do know that much. Like I said, Randy's just the custodian, but he does seem to know little ways around stuff. He seems to think some of it is just blowing in. But some of it's just, I mean, you can already smell in that one office, like mold on the carpet, you know, where it's been wet. So, and they're trying to clean it up. So you want me to call Andy and try to do that first and then get the other grant going?
I think so.
Good,
That's
okay.
what we need to do, I think
And
that's,
find out, you know, that money's been approved, can we go ahead and start doing bids to get something?
Yeah, I mean, I think we could go ahead and start the bids and stuff. I just still didn't know how long, we could wait to get it actually start, you know.
why don't we, you call Andy and
Mhm.
see what we can do there, and, if it's something that he hasn't repaired, then we need to, maybe we need a motion to go ahead and accept bids,
Okay.
to fix the roof. Is there a motion?
I move.
I'll second that.
All those in favor, please say yes. Yes? Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
All opposed? All right, we have it. I think that's it. That's all that's on our agenda. Doc Vance, thanks for joining us.
I have one matter that came to my attention yesterday that I think might warrant the commission going into executive session, information relating to litigation. the county's involved in.
And I'd like to give the commission an update on where we're at in the situation and where we're headed from here. We can,
Okay.
I can step out, you can do your executive session, I'll come back, we'll get that out of the way.
All right, do we have a motion to go into executive session?
I move.
I'll say.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying yes. Yes. All opposed, we're now in executive session.
Hold on, wait.